your feet and put your hands together and make some noise for Dr. Delisa.
I have a lot that I want to share with you today, so I'm going to try to get right to it and be as brief as possible, and hopefully something that I say today will be helpful to someone in the room. So when Kenya asked me to speak at the Powerfilled Women Conference, I was extremely excited, overwhelmed, and honored that she thought enough of me and my accomplishments to ask me to share them with a group of eager and powerful women, such as yourselves, who aspire to do something greater with your lives, your talents, your gifts, and your education. I said to myself, girl, you done made it for real. You was smart, you was kind, and you was important. Ms. Kenya Dunn has asked me to speak at one of her events, and I was so honored. And in that moment, I felt like, yes, this degree is really going to make room for me to do some great things that I've always wanted to do, one of which is to encourage and empower women to do what they may believe is impossible and to live their best lives. Yes, I was feeling all good and amped until I finally realized the weight of the task that had been gifted to me. And the fact that I had never really given non-academic talks to large audiences was quite unnerving to me. With that realization, my excitement quickly turned into fear and nervousness, especially when I realized I didn't really know what I was going to say to you all. Fear started to tell me, there's nothing special about what you've done or how you did it, so what can you say that will possibly matter? I tried to ignore the fear because, for one, I know that fear is the enemy of progress. And if I allowed fear to stop me from doing this, I literally would never do anything because I'm afraid, I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm afraid of new and unfamiliar things all the time. And two, you know, I already told Kenya yes, so I couldn't really take my yes back. She might have killed me if I did. And then three, my mother has always taught us that whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And I have literally never seen anyone drop dead from public speaking. So I thought, get over yourself, girl, and just get this done. I reminded myself that everything I do has a purpose, has a position and a purpose. So if I was asked to share my story today and what helped me to get where I am, then somebody, even if it's just one somebody, life will be better because of it. So in preparation for what I was going to say to you all today, I began to think about all of the awesome women I have spoken to in the past and all of the awesome women that I meet almost daily, because I've already met so many awesome women in this room today. Those who have learned about my accomplishment tend to share with me their great ideas, their dreams, and their pursuits, their passions, their desires to start businesses, climb the corporate ladder, and even go back to school. They also share with me their doubts and their fears regarding why they didn't do this, why they felt like they couldn't do that, or why they feel like they're not smart enough to accomplish one thing or another. And that's what made me flip into psychologist mode, because sometimes I forget that I'm a psychologist, y'all. It's just, I don't know why. And I was like, D, and she was like, And I was like, girl, use your counseling skills. And just as a sidebar, all smart people talk to themselves. It's okay. I'm a psychologist. I'm telling you. It's fine. No one knows you better than you, so who's best to talk to? Now, it might be a little crazy if you're out in the middle of Rivers Avenue screaming and hollering at yourself. That would cause pause and concern. But you can talk to yourself every now and then. It's healthy. It really is. But back to what I was saying. I told myself that I would just tell you all what I tell anyone when they're faced with, when they have difficulty navigating challenging situations. And that is, I'm going to try to encourage you to believe in yourself and your abilities. I want to try to instill in you a sense of empowerment that will allow you to see your own strength, your natural born confidence, and the exclusive ability that you have to control your own lives, and therefore your own futures. And I hope to show you that your will, your strength of purpose, your tirelessness, your resoluteness, your purposefulness, and your diligence, all words that describe tenacity, will help you to conquer your biggest giants, climb your highest mountains, and achieve the impossible. So that is my task with the rest of the time that I have left with you today. I hope that by hearing something that I say to you today, or something that any one of these amazing women who will speak and share with you their experiences, that you will be encouraged, empowered, and inspired to reach your highest potential, whatever that may be for you. So when I decided to go back to school for my doctorate, I was 31 years old. I had been married for over 10 years. I had 2 young children, and I had just recently purchased a home. I had a decent job, and it was something I enjoyed doing, but I really wasn't fulfilled in doing it. I had successfully completed a master's program. I could have gone on and gotten licensed as a professional licensed counselor, but I really, really wanted more, and I was struggling about what that was going to be. I had worked in psychiatric research for over 5 years, and I started to think, this is something that I could do. But I didn't want to work for anyone else. I didn't want to work in anyone else's research lab. I had my own ideas about research, and I wanted to implement them, and I wanted to start my own lab. I wanted to do research that I know would impact my community. So I told my husband I wanted to go back to school to get my doctorate degree in counseling psychology. I not only told him that I wanted to go back to school, but I had like a million stipulations that went along with that. I said, I can't do online programs because I am like ADHD is all get out. I don't have time to be sitting down and looking at a computer screen all day. And I had to be at a program that was close enough to Charleston where I can drive back when I want to, because I'm that girl who gets homesick and needs to see her mommy. And Howard seemed like a really good fit for me. So the degree, I told him, this degree is going to require a move to Washington, D.C. But I also said, I can't be separated from my family for 5 years, so everybody is going to have to come with me. Oh, and I can't work. So you're going to have to find a job. So you're going to have to find a job to financially support us the 5 years while we're there. I think I probably said all of that, secretly hoping that he would say, you know, babe, that's not a good idea right now. That way, I could dismiss the dream without feeling at fault and be comfortable, unfulfilled, but comfortable in my mediocrity. But you know, this wonderful man of mine said, let's do it. And 6 months later, we were in D.C., and that started what would be one of the most challenging processes in my life. As I reflect back on that moment, I had every reason not to go, and some pretty good ones too. First and foremost, I had already convinced myself that at my age, in my situation with these children, just purchasing a new home, I'm too old to go back to school and start all this learning stuff again. It's too much. Second thing is, a doctorate program is like completing undergraduate school again, except multiply that by like 1,000. It's a lot. I had small children, and so that was an added layer of difficulty on top of an already challenging process. And third, the thought of being in DC, living on one income, was in my mind absolutely absurd. So while going back to school was something that I really wanted to do, it was something that I was terrified that I would not be able to do. But after 117 credit hours of instructional time, several 20-plus page papers, over 3,000 hours of clinical experience, and one 147-page labor of love and enough tears to fill the Atlantic Ocean, which was my dissertation, I am officially now Dr. Brown. My journey to obtaining my PhD with you because I'm sure you too have something that you would like to accomplish. Something that may seem impossible considering your situation or your situations. You look at other things that you have going on in your life and you say, there's no way I can do all of this. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. What about my children? What about my partner? And on and on and on. Then the real fear kicks in. You start to doubt yourself. You begin to convince yourself that you're not smart enough, or that no one will take a chance on you, or that your ideas have been done before, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. And then you find yourself settling for mediocrity. I could have done just that, settled, but I decided that it was worth it, no matter how hard the road may be, that I could do it. I knew I would not be able to do it on my own, so I surrounded myself with people who believed in me, people who supported me, my aspirations, and they were honest with me when I needed it. These people I call my tribe, and some of them are here today. They carried me through some of the toughest moments in my process with their words of encouragement and empowering conversations about my decisions to reach my goals. I don't know what your dreams and your aspirations are, but because you are here today, I can only imagine how great they must be and how passionate you are about them. So to my first point, what I learned during my journey to obtain this PhD is that in order to continue pursuing your aspirations, your passions, and reaching your highest potential, you're going to have to get yourself a good tribe. Your tribe can consist of friends, family members, mentors, coaches, or all of the above. Whatever that conglomerate of people looks like, you're going to need a good circle of people rooting for you, loving on you, correcting you when necessary, and most importantly, encouraging you to persist no matter how hard the road may become. Now, having a tribe of people in your corner is not to say that you should not be your own biggest cheerleader. You should love yourself first, support yourself first, encourage and empower yourself first so that others know exactly how to do it for you. When building your tribe, connect yourself with like-minded individuals, those who have the same drive and passion as you do, but who can also empathize, not sympathize, with your fears. Because we don't need two scary people trying to do that. That's super unproductive. But if they understand your fears, and that's what empathy means, to just understand what someone is feeling, and if they understand your fears, because they have dealt with it before, then they can help you manage those fears. Also, for most humans, it's comforting to know that we're not the only ones struggling through a process. We are not the only ones afraid to take that next big step to reach our personal goals. And sometimes we need to hear someone who can identify with our struggles say, I too was afraid. I felt inadequate, powerless, unqualified, but I marched on, and you can do it too. Your tribe can provide that for you. Your tribe can also be that listening ear when you just need to vent. How many of you have faced a difficult problem that you did not feel like handling at the time, but instead just wanted to complain? Yeah. Okay. It's not that you never plan to resolve it, but you just wanted to be frustrated about it for a second and let someone know how you feel. And so you all agree. So you know, for a lot of women, men tend to be a little bit more logical. They like to solve problems really quickly. But for women, we want to wallow in it sometimes. Not to stay there, but we just want somebody to understand how we feel. So it's very important to have someone like that in your tribe. Someone you can call and have a good old hissy fit with, right? Just a vent session. Someone who will listen, not judge, but listen to you, allow you to cry, cuss, talk in circles, whatever you need to do in that moment to get it out, right? And all they have to do is just listen and understand you and support you. They don't have to agree with you. They just need to hear you. But this person also needs to be someone who will keep you accountable for your process to make sure that you stay on the road to reaching your highest potential. And so after that vent session, this person needs to be able to help you remember the bigger picture in the end. Your tribe is also there to make sure that you remember to have fun and you remember to take care of yourself, because self-care is so important. Sometimes when working towards our goals, especially when you're trying to get a business off the ground or you're pursuing higher education and you have families and other responsibilities, we get caught up in the process and we forget to take care of ourselves. But your tribe can help remember to do that for you. Your partner may schedule a date night or have a warm candlelit bath waiting on you after a long day. My boo did that for me, y'all. Your girlfriends may take you on a girls trip or just call and let y'all just talk and laugh. Your mom may even, cook your favorite meal. It doesn't have to be some big grand gesture, but just something to remind you to take a break from working and do something fun or relaxing that's just for you. Your tribe is there to support you in reaching your goals. So they know that your time is valuable and they will never keep you away from your work too long, but just long enough to remind you to breathe and live. So get yourself a good tribe. My second point may seem simple and cliche-ish, but I feel that it's worth saying because we all need to be reminded to do it sometimes. And that point is to believe in yourself. No, really, believe in yourself. I'm a spiritual woman, so I rely heavily on my faith throughout my graduate school journey. I know without a shadow of a doubt, had it not been for the grace of God, I would not have ever even gotten into that graduate program, let alone coming on the other side of it as doctor. God had and he still has great plans for my life, and I am convinced that he has great plans for all of you as well. So believe in yourself and your dreams. If for no other reason, believe in yourself because God has made you special. Know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made to accomplish great things in this earth, great things that only you were designed to accomplish. Even if you don't believe in God and the greatness he created you to be, I still implore you to believe in yourself. Know that because you are great, only greatness is birthed out of you. So every idea, every business plan, every research paper you write, whatever product that is birthed out of your desires to strive as you achieve your highest potential will all be great. It may take some time for you to realize it and for others outside of yourself to notice it, but never doubt your greatness. Believing in yourself helps build confidence, and when it comes to success, nothing is more important and influential than self-confidence and believing in yourself. In fact, if you want to be successful, self-belief is more important than intelligence, talent, background, or anything else. People who have self-confidence and believe in themselves are healthier, happier, have better relationships, and are motivated and more resilient. I had to stick some research in there. Simply put, life is better and your processes become easier if you believe in yourself and have the confidence that whatever you set your mind to do, you can do it. Although I know I was purposed by God to do what I do, and even be where I am in this very moment on this stage talking to you, I still had to believe in myself, and I still had to put in the work, because even faith without works is dead. During my graduate studies, and especially during internship and that very traumatizing dissertation process, it was hard for me to believe in myself, because sometimes fear, like I said earlier, the enemy of progress and success, had tried several times to convince me that I was not good enough or smart enough. In those moments, not only did I ask God to restore my confidence, but I reflected on all my past accomplishments, remembered how my tribe had provided me with so much positive feedback, recited a few positive affirmations to myself, and believed, just as I had done it before, there's no doubt that I would do it again. Believing in yourself and your ability to succeed requires a few things. You have to believe whatever your it is possible. You have to visualize it, you have to act as if, and take action steps towards your goal. So I'll explain those things a little bit more. So believing it is possible requires that you believe that you can do whatever you say you can, regardless of what anyone says or where you are in life. Visualizing it requires that you think about exactly what your life would look like if you had already achieved your highest potential. Acting as if requires that you always act in a way that is consistent with where you want to go. And taking action towards your goal simply means that you do not allow fear to stop you, because nothing happens in life until you take action. And once you take that action, you have to make a conscious effort to stick to it. Develop a plan. Despite the obstacles, you have to remember to persevere. Even if your plan changes, your end goal will always be the same, so keep working at it. My third and final point is never compare your process, your progress, or your abilities to anyone else. And remember that discomfort equals growth. So don't be afraid of uncomfortable places. Because if you're working hard and being consistent in your process, discomfort just means something great is about to happen. I never realized how much I compared myself to others until I started my doctorate program. Without saying it or actually even acknowledging it, I was always secretly in competition with my classmates. And when I felt like I didn't win, it was so devastating. Even worse, it made me feel incompetent. I started to question my place at Howard and in a doctorate program, period. I looked at everyone around me and saw where they were and where I was not. I asked myself, how do they know all these things? And why don't I know it? I started to believe something was wrong with me. And I started to think, I might as well give up, because I'll never be as smart as they are. Comparison was literally killing my dreams and aspirations. I was so focused on what I didn't have or what I didn't know compared to others that I was at the point of giving up. Every summer I left DC, because I came home every single summer, y'all. Every summer I left DC to come home, I told my friends, in August, maybe you see me, maybe you don't. And they would laugh because they thought I was joking. But in real life, I really wanted to quit because everyone else seemed like they were struggling. They were not struggling as much as I was, and it was just so hard. Now, don't get me wrong, a doctorate program is supposed to be hard, but I just felt like it was impossibly hard. And I made it harder when I started to compare myself to other folks. Now, there's a song by Jonathan McReynolds, and it's entitled Comparison Kills. And it's a verse in that song that's stuck with me. And I was going to sing it for y'all, but I got a grown man planted in my ear. It's like a grown man. He's right there. I don't think it's going to come out right. So I'm going to recite the words. All right. The lyrics are, the grass was fine until it looked greener on the other side. Now you're believing that you fell behind, but why try to match what should be one of a kind? You're one of a kind. Those words simply say, don't compare yourself or your success to others. It only makes your journey that much harder. Your journey is your journey, and no one can match it. We all have unique processes, and so by definition, comparison makes no sense at all. By comparison, you will always be different. Not bad or worse, just different. If you must be comparative, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Ask yourself, how am I better, more refined, more energized, more motivated than I was yesterday? What have I accomplished in the weeks before that makes me better today than I was then? Because the only person who is worthy of comparison to you is you. Whether your aspirations are to become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or the owner of a small cleaning service, a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate agent, or even a housewife extraordinaire, know that whatever you set your mind to do, you can achieve. It will take perseverance and a lot of hard work, and maybe even a lot of sleepless nights. But if this little country girl from a little section of North Charleston, right over there, called Miller Park, can become a psychologist, then the world is yours for the taking. Remember, the only impossible things in life are those things that you never try to accomplish or conquer. I am not the smartest or the most talented, and if anything, the more I learn, the more I know I don't know. But I did it, I'm going to continue doing it, and I know you can do it too. So never allow your circumstances to dictate who you are, what you can do, or who you can be. But understand that with sheer determination and an unbridled will to accomplish that what you have set out to do, your possibilities are limitless, and you are a power-filled woman. Thank you.